Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast. Welcome back to the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. It is Thursday, September 4th. This is episode 223, and it is a football Thursday because we have, for the first time ever, 1-2 taking on each other in TNL. We have the opening night of NFL football with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and we'll get into a lot of that. And it seems like we have football every day in college. We don't today because of the NFL. But we'll talk about the Texas State and UTSA game coming up on Saturday as well, because that should be a really good matchup. It's
going to be a heater.
Yeah, absolutely, in the Dome. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, Charles, how are you?
I'm doing well, Matthew. How are you doing this morning?
Every time I ask you, it sounds it's the same. You got that script down, memorized.
I don't know. It's in my brain.
And then I say, how was the weekend?
Thankfully.
And then I say, how was the weekend? You say, free of incident.
Yes.
It's like Charles and Matthew. Can you call me Robert?
Robert.
Yes.
What's Luis's full name? Luis.
Fair enough.
So we should shorten his name. Call him Lou.
Lou.
Smooth
right.
Lou.
He'll love that.
Excuse me. All right, let's get this started. So remember to download, rate, review the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel with News 4 Fox SA. Helps us out a lot. 223, Chuck. You got a guess?
223. I do not have a guess.
Area code. I'm going to need you to have a guess.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, if I have a bad guess, though. Bob, do you have a guess?
If it's outside the United States.
223.
I looked it up, so
you already know. Right.
But it is
Split
it's good
Croatia.
For, target shooting.
Huh?
It's good for target shooting.
Does that give you
223?
Does that give you a hint?
No, it's not a hint. That's ammo.
Oh,
Okay.
223.
It's relatively close to where Zach is right now.
Zach is in Dover, Delaware.
It is Philadelphia, or is South Central Pennsylvania.
Oh, close to Dover, Delaware.
Does that include Scranton?
Man, I don't know.
That's crazy, man. Like Wilmington, Delaware is basically a suburb of Philadelphia. It's a nice, sneaky little East Coast town, I must say.
All right. Well,
the Big Kahuna. Shout out to you.
Eagles Cowboys tonight in
Big Kahuna still
in
around?
Philadelphia. The Eagles kick off their campaign for a repeat performance, and the Super Bowl winners. They'll hang the banner tonight in front of their hated rival, the Dallas Cowboys. They are 8.5-point favorites. The Eagles are, which is a huge number. Went up about 2 points, 1.5 when Micah was traded. I've seen it touch 9 in a couple of places. Like the number is just going up. Everybody's on the Eagles. Over-unders 47.5. Before we get to the game itself, there was an interesting tidbit from Adam Schefter this morning that the Eagles apparently made a push to trade for Micah Parsons. And Jerry wouldn't do it because it's an interdivision rival. Would you take teams off of the table if they are division rivals for trades?
That's always a tough one, right? I guess it would depend on what would the division rival be willing to give up to get your guy, right? I mean, if Philly was going to trade him 4 first-round picks, wouldn't you have to then do it?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what the offer is, right?
Correct. 100% all the time. You see it a lot in baseball, not necessarily with trades, but, the guy that's in free agency ends up going to a division rival. But
that's
football
different.
feels different, right?
Well, free agency is different, though. Like Jacoby Ellsbury going from the Red Sox to the Yankees in free agency because they made him a bigger contract offer. That's not really as heated as if he was traded there. Or Roger Clemens, he went there in free agency. He wasn't traded to the Yankees. So
that was my point, is that you see guys changing though inside the division all the time. And I mean, with as much as they change uniforms in baseball, football, obviously careers are a lot shorter. Guys are not in one place because their career is a lot shorter. I mean, guys are not in the one place for a longer period of time because their careers are, a lot shorter. And you know what I'm trying to say,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I get why he didn't do it. I mean, it was hard to stomach for a lot of Cowboys fans anyway, that he was being traded to the Packers, who they think is a rival. And to some degree they are. Trading him to the Eagles, who just won a Super Bowl, would have been like hell freezing over for Cowboys fans. That would have been just a horrible day for them. So I get why even in Jerry's opening press conference after the trade was done, he was like, well, we couldn't cut out the Packers too, because we already cut out 3 teams in the NFC. And so, like, how many teams do you want us to take off the table here? And they were searching for a certain criteria. However, if you could have gotten Jalen Carter and 2 firsts and a second,
don't you have to think about it?
You got to think about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm never for taking the teams completely off the table, but I think the price the Eagles would have had to pay would have had to have been higher than the price that the Packers would have had to have paid if I was the one doing the trade. Speaking of the Micah of it all, how big of a deal is it? How big of an effect is he not being there going to have on their defense this evening?
I'll let you know based on what Sam Williams does tonight, right? If somebody comes out and has an unbelievable game, a remarkable game, the Cowboys will be able to turn the page rather quickly. Maybe not the Cowboys so much, but the Cowboy fans at least will have a week to go, wow, maybe this was a good trade after all. So, it's going to be incumbent upon the guys that are there. Somebody's got to come up and have a really big game that plays a similar position to Micah Parsons, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if Jalen Hurts is back there and you're like, where the hell's the pass rush? Then everyone's going to be pointing to, oh, it's because 11's not out there. So if they're getting pressure, if they're getting in the face of Jalen, then I think that there's going to be a lot of sins forgiven, I guess. But if it's the difference between 2.5 seconds and 3.5 seconds in the pocket, then that's going to be huge.
100% in the NFL, it means everything, right? I mean, you're talking fractions of a second are everything. And obviously, Micah Parsons is a difference maker. He's going to be missed no matter what this year. I don't think there's any question about that. But, in time, when you get these draft picks, when you get Overshown back at some point, maybe they can ham and egg it to lessen the loss to some degree.
How big is that absence going to be felt the entire season? For one game, I think you can scheme a lot of things, and these two teams are very familiar with each other anyway. Dak is always very good against the Eagles. And so that's why I think the over-unders is 47.5, because people are expecting a semi-shootout here. But overall, in the entire scope of things, when you look at the Cowboys, is Micah's absence going to make this team that much worse? Because their odds fell considerably when it comes to Super Bowl odds, division odds, everything when he was traded. The lines on certain games went up towards the other team when Micah was traded. How big do you think it's that big of a deal? A franchise shaking trade, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it is, right? But I mean, those odds are going to change week to week. There's a lot of unknowns, obviously, with this Cowboys team. I mean, on offense and on defense. So, if they put together a good game tonight, then their chances of winning the Super Bowl obviously are going to increase. The next time they play, the point spread won't be as much of a deficit. I mean, there's a lot of things that can change quickly. But because of the amount of unknowns that there are with the Cowboys, some of it being personnel, but some of it is we don't even know what the hell their offense is going to look like based on what we didn't see during training camp and what we didn't see in those preseason games. So we'll see what it all looks like together in week 1, and knowing all along that no matter what happens tonight, it's a long season and things can change pretty quickly one way or the other.
How big of a deal is it that Tyler Guyton and Trayvon Diggs are back?
I think it helps, and Bland too, right? So you're getting some of the guys that are, first of all, you're getting starters back, and that many starters, that's got to help. And how big will it mean tonight? Hard to know, right? I mean, I don't see Trayvon Diggs running around a lot this summer because he was in the rehab protocols and doing all that. So he didn't have a full training camp. He's missed quite a bit of time. Is he going to be able to knock off the rust completely? I would think there's going to be some. To what degree? Well, we're about to find out, because the Eagles team is pretty damn talented, as you well know.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a lot of Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland on the field at the same time. Like we just,
I don't think we have ever, right?
It just doesn't happen. So seeing them on the field at the same time, you wonder if he's going to be on a bit of a pitch count. Trayvon is, and this is a huge year for Tyler Guyton. I mean, you've got to respond from the lackluster season that he put together last year. You're facing one of the best defensive fronts in the entire NFL on the first game of the season, right as you're coming back from injury. Good luck. So there's
a lot working against the Cowboys.
There's a lot working
tonight.
against them. You said it correctly. There's a lot working, especially against that offensive line tonight. It's guys that haven't gotten a lot of work this offseason together because of Tyler's injury. So I think I just got to see it tonight. I just got to see how they look. So
I think you speak for all of us.
So are you excited to see Shoddy's offense though? I'm a little excited to see exactly what he puts together, because he has the reputation, especially from when he was in Seattle, of being the run first guy, but he always wanted to pass the ball more in Seattle. He wants to sling the pigskin all over the yard. So I'm excited to see what the offense looks like, since all we've heard from Shoddy and Dak is this has been a pared down offense this entire offseason. We haven't shown anything. I think they're going to show it all tonight. They want to make a statement.
I think they do need to make a statement in a lot of ways, and I'm curious, like you, to see how it all unfolds, because we really haven't seen what this team even could be during the preseason, right? And then you talk about adding an explosive receiver like Pickens. We've talked about this ad nauseum, right? I mean, a guy with a career average that's damn near 15 yards a catch. What is that going to look like with 88 on the other side? How much is that going to benefit 87 at tight end? I mean, there's a lot of things they're going to be able to do in the passing game with all of these guys on the field together. And I think it's going to be the strength of the offense, at least as we sit here right now. We can spitball and say, well, because we can assume that they're going to be really good at passing with Dak at quarterback, and they've got really explosive receivers. We really don't know that much about the running game. What is that going to look like? Who's going to get the bulk of the carries? Who's going to be in there at the start of the game? Who's going to be there at the end of the game? How are they going to use Blue in these passing situations? How's he going to factor in when it comes to running the football? How are they going to run him? Are they going to run him predominantly outside? Is it going to be between the tackles? Is it going to be both? And the Eagles are going to get a lot of that tonight. So I think from that perspective, the Cowboys have a little bit of an advantage tonight, because where's the tape on Shoddy calling plays, and what is this offense going to look like? So some of this it's going to be hard initially for the Eagles to attack based on what they don't see, that they're going to kind of have to maybe, like a boxing match, feel themselves out a little bit as we go along. And I'm curious to see how it looks.
And I'm curious to see how Dak's going to look too. I mean,
True that.
We haven't seen Dak on a football field, a professional football field, in a game situation since he tore his hammy. So how mobile is he going to be? How is he going to be a little, gun shy to run or get out of the pocket, or maybe try and pick up a first down with his legs? Because he wasn't very mobile last year before the injury. And then in the one game, he was trying to become a little bit more mobile and run a little bit more. He tore his hammy. So seeing what type of mobility he has is going to be interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, because if it took the Cowboys a long time last year to get the running game going. And when you can't run, Dak's really good, like all quarterbacks are, when you use the play action. So if nobody respects the run, that you can do it well, then you're just going to have guys pinning their ears back, and it's going to put even more pressure on the guy that's taking the ball from center.
Give me a pick.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb, because I don't like doing this, and I don't, but yet it seems like everywhere I go, everybody's got me on the hook for something. So that point spread to me is ridiculous.
I almost made you pick division winners today and Super Bowl champ.
I'm glad you didn't.
I'm going to ask for a Super Bowl champ, but that's it.
Whoever I pick is going to pretty much jinx that team for not winning it.
So just don't pick the Broncos.
So I'm going to pick the Eagles. So we'll cut to the chase there. But I think that spread is ridiculous. I mean,
yeah. What does Vegas know that we don't? Like,
true that
8.5 is a lot of points
in the NFL, where most games are decided by one score. Yeah, that's a lot of points. And again, the one thing that McCarthy was always there were many things that McCarthy was really, really good at, but the one thing that was really, really, really good at was game planning and scheming when he had an entire offseason for that first ball game, right? May not win them all, but they're going to be in the ball game. I mean, that's my sense tonight. And I believe Schottenheimer probably, he's pulling and grabbing from every single guy, including his dad, that he's ever been around, for this moment, I'm pretty sure that that's one thing that really resonated with him. So I think the Cowboys will be in this game, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'll be the one guy probably that does. Why not shock the world on opening night and really give everybody something to think about, the whole league, give the Cowboys themselves, Cowboy fans, reason to believe that maybe this could be a really good year at the end of this, and winning the opener would go a long way on that.
I think the defense will surprise us a little bit tonight, and the offense does just enough to hang in the ball game. I think this is like a 24-20 kind of game, maybe 24-17, something like that. There's going to be drives where Dak and the offense don't get it, but as soon as you get across half field, you're in Brandon Aubrey's range. So it's like 24-23, 24-20, something like that.
Okay, so you think it's going to be close?
I think it's going to be close. I think I think the 8.5 is way too many. I don't understand the point spread, and that usually when you don't understand it, it's they do, and so the Eagles are going to win by 20, and so we'll just see what happens. But I think 8.5 is just a crap ton.
And some of this too, I'm sure, is AI generated. If you're Vegas, I mean, I did something with ChatGPT. I wanted to see who won the Cowboys trade with the Packers. Was it Green Bay or was it Dallas? And everything that AI spit out on ChatGPT was that the Cowboys got fleeced, and they sourced everything. And it was, so I think if that's the pervasive sense on the internet, I saw Ed Werder did a piece where he basically talked to a bunch of now walking back his initial thoughts, which was that the Cowboys got fleeced. So I think, with time, we'll be able to make a fair assessment as to really who did win that. But what I'm saying is, because of all the information that's on the internet, and Vegas is obviously pulling from a bunch of different sources, maybe that point spread is indicative of what's actually going on in the internet right now.
Over under on the season win total.
I'm going to say 9. I don't think they're going to have a losing record, but I'm not super confident with all the unknowns saying that, oh yeah, they're going to make a run for a division title and all that. But this league top to bottom is built so that everybody going into the season, it's supposed to be a 50-50 crapshoot with the salary cap and with all of the variables that are in play. The league has tried to, and I think done a very good job in that most teams are going to be right around playoff contention with a month left to go in the season. So I don't think there's any reason why the Cowboys, given everything that they did during the offseason, and even with all the changes, that they shouldn't at least be in the conversation this year. So I'll go with 9.
I think over on the 7.5 is a near lock. 8, 9, 10 sounds right about where they belong. 10 and 7, it seems like the ceiling. And if you're 10 and 7, you're flirting with a playoff spot. So we'll see.
Yeah, you get to 10 wins, you're probably in.
Yeah. I mean, especially with 7 people getting in. Yeah, you're probably in with 10 and 7. So let's get to Texas State and UTSA. So the I-35 Showdown going down this weekend in the Alamodome on Saturday. Texas State absolutely killed UTSA last season in San Marcos. But it really had been a one-sided rivalry until last year. I think that was the only win that Texas State has ever had against UTSA. So what do you think coming into this season? Obviously, the wheels came off early for UTSA last year with that loss. Mm-hmm. They didn't play well against Kennesaw State. They didn't play well against Texas, and then they ended up getting hot later and getting some things straightened out. But after what we saw last week from against Texas A&M, where they played reasonably well, Texas State played well against, I think it was East Michigan. What do you expect as we go into Saturday?
Well, I mean, to the rivalry thing, my perspective on that was I don't know that Texas State has any real rivals up to that point, right? So, they were always ahead of UT a lot of different things with all the national championships that they won in the 80s. And, the football brand for Texas State, was kind of up and down. They were really good when I was there in the 80s, and then they took a dip, and then David Bailiff brought them back into national prominence when he was there, and then it dipped down again. But when Frank Harris and that crew was starting to come up, Josiah Tauefa, I can remember we did a game, Don and I, in San Marcos, UTSA and Texas State, and that was like a blood sport for UTSA. I mean, they were running their mouths, not so much during the week on the internet, but like during that game. I mean, they'd tackle a guy and they made sure that guy knew that, hey, we're going to be here all day and this is what you're going to get every single play. And I mean, UTSA just ran those guys legitimately off the field. I mean, that was, the coming out party for a lot of different football players on that team. And there was a mindset that this is how we're going to get notoriety in our own area, by doing what we just did. And so, GJ, I believe, was the one that said earlier this week that it wasn't a rivalry till they won last week. I think he's right. I mean, till they won last year, because Texas State, although they ran with them the year before that in the Alamodome, that was a slugfest too, but UTSA ended up winning that ball game and it was relatively close. What's Texas State did last year, I think, is one of the reasons and one of the motivations that you saw what UTSA did last week, which was that was a physical football team. Their size, their speed, everything matched up with A&M right into that third quarter. And I think, you've seen Jeff Traylor all week, and even during the off season, I mean, it seems like it's all business. He's still great with the sound bites, and he's still good at giving reporters and fans things to chew on and think about and all of that. But there's a more buttoned up approach to him. And I don't think there's any question that there's a more buttoned up approach to his team this year. I'm really curious to see what unfolds in that ball game, because I think this could be a really, really physical, fun football game to see, especially this early on in the season, when really neither one of these teams have anything to play for other than bragging rights.
I think the rivalry, and I'll use the word lightly, I think it took a little bit of a different angle when Jeff and GJ started coaching against each other, because they're so close. They're such good friends, and Jeff is such a mentor for GJ and has been the entire time he's been coaching. And so when it's those two, it gives it a different narrative. And of course, they want the bragging rights against each other, but they also want their teams to play well against each other. They want it to be a good game, but I think both of them in an honest moment would say, yeah, I want to beat him, just for a little bit of bragging rights against each other. And I think that the rivalry between the two teams kind of takes that on as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly that element, right? And I think it's also because both of these guys are really good coaches and have done unbelievable jobs rising the expectations at both schools. So, they're both recruiting the same guys.
I think
they're trying to get the same guys. I mean, there's a lot at stake here. And I thought Traylor said it best this week when he said, I wish I was at a point where, this is 30 years down the road, I could just kind of sit back and pull for GJ, but now he wants to step on his big toe. And I'm pretty sure, that's exactly what GJ wants to do too. It's like, you can be buddies, but at some point, this does mean a lot for both programs and where for both of these coaches are in their careers.
UTSA is expecting more than 40,000 students in the Alamodome. Usually their average is 26.5, but when it's a 40-minute drive from San Marcos, I mean, you're going to fill up the dome pretty good, and it's going to be a really fun atmosphere. I feel like the at least on social media, and it's a melting pot for this stuff, is the fans see this as more of a rivalry than it is, or than it has been. UTSA fans talk their crap, and they don't like that Texas State's been able to talk crap over the last year. So I think that'll be a really fun atmosphere in the Alamodome between the two of those fan bases. The line on this is 4.5 for UTSA, over under 65.5.
Didn't it start at like 8 though, or something? It was pretty high up there, and I can
tell you.
Down. Yeah.
What do you think? Who do you think wins?
Oh man, probably UTSA based on what I saw last week. I mean, when you got a running back that went for 170 on an SEC team, and just the physicality that they played with, I mean, if Texas State doesn't match that, it's going to be a very long day. There's the other side of me though that knows that GJ is a freaking sorcerer, man. I mean, the guy just knows how to win. I've never seen anybody that can bring a bunch of new guys and flip things as quickly as this guy has done year after year after year, whether it was at UIW, whether it's at Texas State, and they got guys coming and going. It doesn't seem to matter. Obviously Clay Killow does a good job of that too, of flipping rosters and being able to win on the fly. But
line started at 5.5, by the way. It's actually now down to 3.5.
Okay. Wow.
So people are betting Texas State.
Yes.
Early.
And so, he's got, Brad Jackson had a really nice opener.
Former Reagan Rattler.
That's exactly right. And they've got dudes, but UTSA has dudes too. The image I can't get out of my brain is UTSA, though. Physically, they looked, you couldn't tell the difference much between them and A&M, if at all.
100%,
I mean,
100%.
That O-line is immense. They play with a nasty. And
so you're taking UTSA?
Yeah. UTSA's tight ends looked,
really,
in my opinion, better than A&M's. So, and I believe too that, again, this is like a mission statement. This game is what pissed off Jeff Traylor last year.
100%.
More than anything else.
Besides
you
can't
the
go
injuries in there, and of course, without a doubt. But I mean, all things being equal, Jeff Traylor has said he thought that last year's team underachieved. I don't think this team is going to underachieve. And so with that in mind, I think UTSA wins. I wouldn't touch that point spread. This would be a game I would just stay the hell away from.
I would probably stay away too. If you said forced me to bet an amount of money that mattered to me on the game or on the spread, I would take UTSA. I just think that UTSA is a better team. I think they're a more physical team. I think that they've learned from the mistakes and sins of last year, and that Jeff Traylor has been beating it into him for the last 6 months that you're not going to lose to Texas State and you're going to live up to your potential.
Right.
You're not going to have those penalties, injuries. They've been trying to do better on the injury front and change kind of the way they train and all that stuff. They didn't have any pre-snap penalties against Texas A&M in Texas A&M with 107,000 people cheering for them to mess up.
Right.
So, I mean, it says a lot to me, the maturity of this team. And I think that UTSA wins.
I think the one thing that Texas State has a lot of things going for them. I shouldn't say it like that. Texas State has also the advantage that UTSA just came off a blood sport the week before.
It's true.
So if, and they lost at least one really good linebacker in the process, right? So, that will definitely serve Texas State well, you have to think.
All right, let's get to our TNL, our high school football section of the podcast for the week. TNL top 10 for week 2 we'll go over first, and then we have just a whale of a game tonight. If you don't want to watch the Cowboys, flip on CWSA to see
you can watch
pretty much
both.
Actually, you can split screen it now. If you have YouTube TV, double box it. 2 of the best teams in our entire area, 1 and 2 in our TNL top 10 poll for the first time ever, are playing tonight on Little Caesars Thursday Night Lights presented by the Gomez Law Firm. So that's going to be a really good game. Let's go to the TNL top 10 to start. These are 5A, 6A teams. Like we said, starts off with Brennan and Smithson Valley. They're 1-2, did not change from last week. Brennan beat Reagan. Smithson Valley won handily against somebody. It was like 67-7. I forgot.
It was Roosevelt, right?
Yeah, it was Roosevelt. That's right. Steele won handily as well. They're number 3. Harlan beat the East Central Hornets. I believe it was 48-40, but that game got delayed by rain. So we'll see exactly what Harlan is. And this is where I disagree with the rankings a little bit. Johnson should be way higher. Johnson,
they look legit.
They looked like the best team in the area last week against Judson. Judson didn't have a chance. They were up 14-0 in the blink of an eye. Like, it was ridiculous how good Johnson was last week.
The good thing about this poll is it's week 2 and it's a long season, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. Johnson did look the part, and boy, what don't they have? I guess is where we should start, right?
My goodness.
Even that's a short list.
Yeah. Piper is number 5 on the TNL top 10 poll. They won last week as well. They beat Bernie. Bernie played really well for a team that lost their all everything starting quarterback and their one of the best head coaches in the Texas high school football ranks, in Shea Hendricks. So they played extremely well. I was impressed with Bernie. I was more impressed with Piper. Piper is Piper. They won 35-28, I believe, and they played really well. New Braunfels played well as also. They're 1-0. Brandeis nearly lost a 35-point lead. Brandeis against O'Connor, I think they were up 35-0. Then the next time I looked at the score, it was 38-35, and O'Connor was up, and I said, "What the hell?"
I know.
What is Coach Molesky doing over there?
I was asking you, we were doing the scores. I'm like, "What are you telling me this right? Because you just told me 5 minutes ago."
It updated, and I was like, "Oh my God, Coach Molesky's got these guys pumping." But Coach Keamy Lewis and Brandeis pulled that one out. Alamo Heights.
This to me is the one that I think
I disagree with how low they are. Yeah, they should be 100%. Alamo Heights won 70-35 against Seguin, and so I went out to shoot the game, and I was out of there in 5 minutes. When you go shoot a game, you go get 3 plays just to be safe. You get a establishing shot and 3 highlights, and then you go to your next game because you got to go all over the place. I was literally I gave Seguin 2 possessions because I was like, I have to try and get a highlight of them. I didn't need to. There was just no reason for me to. Alamo Heights was up 70-35. They won that game, and this is without Michael Terry III, who was one of the best athlete prospects and is now at Texas in the entire state last year. And so DK Garza is going to be a monster this year. He gained height, he gained weight. He looks like Michael Terry looked last year. He is a force.
We did their game last year.
Alamo Heights is running back for this.
And I always really appreciate the way Ron Rittiman does things, especially for TV, because he could have easily made that all about the Michael Terry game, but he did not play the one-man game. And we got a sense of DK last year. It was like, that dude, again, man, my jaw dropped. It's like, man, who is this guy, right? And they've got a lot of dudes like that.
Yeah, crazy.
Based on what we saw last year, we knew that, okay, Michael Terry, as great as he is, and he is great, I mean, these dudes ain't going to miss a beat. They got dudes on top of dudes at Alamo Heights.
You wouldn't think that they would be so deep of a team when they're such a small district, like right in the heart of San Antonio or north side of San Antonio. And it's like, God, they just reload, and Ron Rittiman's got that kitty purring, and it's like, all right, let's go. And then number 10 was Clark.
Yeah.
Clark got the win over
Cougs.
Clark got the win over
Sotomayor.
And so they're 1-0 now too. I think that was a 17-14 game. All right, let's talk about Brennan Smithson Valley. What can you not say about these guys? I mean, Smithson Valley, the reigning 5A D1 champs from last year. Brennan, always a force to be reckoned with Coach Baser. Let's hear from both coaches first before we kind of break down the game. But these are 2 of the best head coaches in our and 2 of the best programs in our entire area.
What did film show you about the game the other night?
Well, it's typical to kind of have a few struggles and a few mistakes, in your first game. New guys playing, in a big game. Reagan's obviously a really good team, so we're glad we came out on top, but there's definitely some things to clean up pretty much on offense, defense, and special teams. So here we are today, starting to clean up that process. Excited to get the win, but, that's usually how most first games go, across the state.
And then you got a short week, and it doesn't get any easier now. You play the defending state champion in 5A. First off, what sticks out to them when you start watching and breaking down their film?
Everything. I mean, they're good at everything. They're top 5 coaching staff in the state of Texas. Like you said, they're defending state champs. I mean, they're a storied program. There's not much else you can say. They're exceptional, and to beat an exceptional team, you got to be exceptional. So that's our goal this week, to knock out some of the things we need to fix and play the best game we can. Obviously, that's the goal every week. We want to go 1-0 every week. We went 1-0 last week, trying to go 1-0 this week on a short week. So that's a big challenge, and then a big opponent, bigger challenge. But, the process stays the same, and hopefully we just got tremendous focus and so on and so forth, and can carry some of that momentum of winning last week into this week and play a big game on Friday night.
Coach, what did tape show you about the victory that you had on Friday night?
Well, we were just able to put a few more explosive plays together. Our defense made a number of turnovers, gave us short fields, and offensively, for the most part, we were able to capitalize and just got it rolling downhill. And I don't know if it'd go like that if we played them again, but that night it did, and we're glad of it.
and what's ahead is a very good Brennan team that you're getting ready to face this Thursday on a short week. What are some of the things that they do well that's keeping Coach up at night?
Well, they just, they've got a lot of things going in their favor. They have excellent tradition. They've won at a high level for a long, long time. They're very disciplined in what they do. Their kids are very well drilled and well coached and buy into it. You can tell because they are locked in, and in every phase of the game, they don't make mistakes. And then on top of that, they've got athleticism, they've got talent, they've got speed. And so you put all that together on a short week over at their place, tall order for the Rangers.
Yeah, he's got that right. Tall order for the Rangers, tall order for the Bears as well.
Damn right.
Tell me what you see and what you heard from both coaches.
Well, obviously we're in week 2 here, and I just really enjoyed my time on the phone with both coaches this week. I mean, you'll learn so much about not just the game of football, but how they run an organization, how they run their program, what they're trying to teach these kids, not only on the football field, but as men. Just super fascinated by both of these guys. They do it a little differently. There's probably a little more fire from Baser, and but
you can tell that
right
from his speaking voice.
Yeah, and Larry's just runs such a well-oiled machine that it's but they're getting a little fire, but maybe a little different tone in how it's done. I was fascinated when he was talking about, not only this matchup this week, but talking about rivalries. And he's like, we don't really put any more weight into playing this team or that team. And if somebody wants to do that with us, that's great. We can't control them, but he doesn't want his teams ever to think that they're on some sort of roller coaster emotionally week to week, that literally this is the most important game. We're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to fight like heck every moment of the game. We're going to do what we do best. We're going to line up and see if it's better than what you do best. But, and really the tone hasn't really changed with Larry. I really thought, it's like, do you have to learn some new tricks? You've never had to coach a team that's won a defending that comes back as the defending state champs. And he's like, no, I mean, because we've had success before, it's literally about going out and trying to win the next game, because, we got a monument out there and everybody's going to know from here until the end of eternity that we did something special in 24. And it's right that we're going to get our just due with the plaques and the banners and everything else. But before you looked up, he said, it was already time to start thinking about the next year. So it wasn't even time to think about retirement or doing anything else. It's like he's literally already on to the next. It's the time of year that's what he does. And I don't know, just both guys, Baser, same way. I mean, there's no taking the foot off the gas with him either, right?
No, and
we're going forward. We're going to plow the road, and we'll see where we end up at the end of the year.
And Brennan's going to punch you in the teeth no matter who you are. Like, even when it seems like they lose to Lake Travis or Westlake every year in the playoffs. But even those guys, they give it their best shot. Like, they're never going to come out and lay down. So especially a Baser coach defense, he always has a good defense. Last year was probably the best defense he's ever had. And just still couldn't get over the hump against Lake Travis, I think, in the playoffs. But it is a 5A team against a 6A team. Mm-hmm. And for people who wonder, is there a huge difference? There is. I mean, if you put Brennan is further from the top in 6A than Smithson Valley is further from the top in 5A, because they are at the top of 5A. But this should be a really good game either way. I mean, Brennan beat them last year in Smithson Valley, and Smithson Valley went on to win the title. Like, that's the difference of 6A and 5A is, like, there's more athletes, there's bigger rosters, there's better athletes at 6A. It's just kind of,
well, yeah, you have more numbers to pull from, but you're not gonna snooze on the fact that whatever it is that Smithson Valley has, they've been trained well, they're eating well.
100%. I'm not trying to poo-poo what they've done. I'm just saying that when you see the game tonight and you're like, oh, Smithson Valley's the reigning 5A state champ, why are they losing to Brennan? Which they might. I don't know if they will, but they might. just think about it. That's how I think about it. Like 6A is just higher, better caliber football.
This is the prove it game that Larry Hill seems to relish the most, right? It's like, we got to go there. We got to go to their place. They're bigger, stronger, faster. They got dudes. They're an elite level program. They win every year. And this is what he lives for. It's like he knows this is going to be a prove it game. And this is also, one of those line of demarcation games, right? Where are we? The 5A league that he's in is treacherous week in and week out. And if you can make it through that, you might have a chance, because his league is super tough week in and week out. You're not getting any bunnies, whether it's 5A or 6A.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun night between the Cowboys game and the TNL game that we will be at. So it's going to be really, really fun. Hope everyone tunes in to double box it into your YouTube TV sets there.
Sinclair San Antonio going to own the night tonight.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Remember to download, rate, review the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. Anything, Bob, before we get out of here?
There's no Cowboys supporters anywhere. Everyone thinks Cowboys.
Everybody
Everyone thinks the Cowboys suck.
Oh,
Right.
well, I'm on an island.
Yep, just
All
you.
right. So
Just
be
you.
it.
We'll be back on Monday, guys. See you then.